What up, y'all? Roll call. Roll call. Hey, where the real men at? Where the real men at? Stand up. Where the real men stand up? I'm talking about men. I'm not talking about males. I'm not talking about boys. I'm talking about real men. Where y'all at? Stand up. And just because you got a set of testicles don't mean you're a man. Where the men at? I got a question for y'all. I got a question for us. Since when did men, real men, start being okay with gossiping and slandering? Since when? Y'all answer that question for me. Because I stand on the shoulders of real men. Real men. I came from a real one. My pops was a real one. Uncles, real ones. A lot of the men that I saw growing up in my neighborhood, quite a few real ones. I always came up and hung with a few older cats too when I was growing up in the hood. So I had a few of my peers that we hung together, but a lot of my guys, 3, 4, 5 years older than me that I came up with, real ones. So when I tell y'all I stand on the shoulders of real men, I mean it. Real men live by a code. One of those codes was we don't hate on each other. Regardless of what, no hating. And that includes gossip, slander. Whatever you needed, whatever you wanted, whatever you tried to get, you better get it by your own skill, your own will. You don't put down your brothers trying to get anything. So we had a certain code, certain codes that we live by. And a lot of real men who might hear this message can agree with that. So how do we get here in 2024 where everywhere we look, I'm on the heels of a Charleston White interview, Cat Williams interview. I just seen an interview, a video from Columbus Short today talking about Ced the Entertainer. And countless other videos, all we see is men sitting on other men's couches. Let me take that back. All we see is males sitting on other people's couches, gossiping and slandering one another. And a lot of people seem to be okay with that. We cheering it on. 2024 is the year of exposure. Exposure. And you got males sitting back with their margaritas and their pom-poms and their popcorn, running from one story to the next, like who next to be exposed? And let me be clear. Even the Bible says everything done in the dark will come to the light. So anything evil, anything dark, especially when it comes to that entertainment industry, but anything evil and dark should be exposed and will be exposed. But I'm talking about gossip and slander. I'm talking about dirtying up somebody's name intentionally. When did that become the thing to do? As a man, when did that become the thing to do? Let me tell y'all the difference between a man of yesterday and a man of today. A man of yesterday, I mean our pops, our grandfathers and them. Here's the difference. Think about your strongest bourbon or strongest whiskey. Pour it in the glass. Straight up. Just straight up. you're going to sip that nice and slow because you respect it. Because it's strong. Because you know you can't underestimate it. It'll knock you out. That's our pops and our grandfather and them. That's them. Now take that same bourbon or whiskey, double shot. Put it in that same glass. Now add a little Coke and Pepsi to it. Then add about 5 ice cubes to it. Then come back maybe a few hours later. Or better yet, the next day. Sip it then. See how weak and watered down it is. That's the average man of the day. That's the difference between yesteryear and today. We celebrate weak men today. We celebrate the gossipy, catty male today. And that's not to diss Cat Williams. But I'm just talking about these characteristics. We celebrate this type of male today. Them type of males remind me of when I was young, listening to my mom and them talk on the phone, and my aunties, when they was talking to their girlfriends about All My Children and the Younger Restless, and they was giving them a play-by-play on what went on with the soaps. That remind me of the male we got today. Giving each other a play-by-play. Whole bunch of gossip, whole bunch of slander. And a lot of people make a living off of it, doing a podcast or whatever, just gossiping and slandering about other people. Just because you get paid to do it don't mean it's right. Again, let me rewind that, because a lot of us, a lot of people in general, we justify a lot of wrong and evil things just because they get into the bag. Just because you getting paid to do it doesn't mean it's right. So when did these things, snitching and gossiping and slandering and all of this, become cool for a man to do? Real men now. Because I consider myself cut from the old cloth. I come from my daddy and them, my granddaddy and them, the guys that I grew up with. I'm a made man in a sense. Not in the sense of what you would think of an Italian mob guy. But similar, because even them, they had morals and principles that they lived by. Right? I'm a made man in that sense. There's morals and principles that real men stand on, 10 toes down, things that we live by. Where those men go? Where they at? And I'm sure they do exist. I see a few of them. We see things and we keep it moving. We acknowledge each other when we in public. So I know we still out here. But the numbers make us seem like real few. Real few. And I see a lot of the same stuff that a lot of you guys are seeing. A lot of the viral videos, a lot of the interviews. I see a lot of the same stuff. I just choose not to share it, and I choose to hold my opinion on certain things because I know that ain't the manly thing to do. Where those men at? Where those men at? And shout out to T.I.'s son King, because he made a old phrase kind of popular. A lot of people saying this right now. A lot of people claim and swear that they standing on business. A lot of people claim that they standing on business. But really, y'all, they just standing on busyness. Which is not the same. They're just being a bunch of busybodies. But what a real man at. Salute to y'all. 100.